Hello there. This is a quick overview of the 2021 Trance 29.3 full suspension mountain bike. Got this brand new at a local bike shop. It's kind of tough finding one of these anywhere really, but I got lucky with the extra large. Just want to do a quick overview, which this bike is actually pretty awesome. I like the head tube angle, 65.5. The front fork has 130 millimeters of travel. The rear has 115. The front fork is a Marzocchi Z2 Bomber, and the rear shock is a Fox Float. I think both of them are pretty much well, semi entry level. This bike's kind of like a entry level to like the nicer stuff that Giant offers. I had to do some changes though, as usual. When I get a new bike, I usually change out a bunch of stuff. This originally came with a 12-speed drivetrain, which was Dior, the lower level. It was pretty awesome. It was cool. It was good. The only thing I didn't like was the wheel set. The wheel set was it's 29, but the width was only, it said it was supposed to be 30 millimeters, but it did not look like it. It looks like more like 25 to 27, something like that. I guess there is a bike shortage on parts and everything, and I'm assuming they just put those wheels on there. And yeah, well, the main reason I swapped them is because they had 28 spoke, and with my experience, I'm a bigger rider, I'm taller, I need more. I just didn't, well, I've ridden those 28 spoke wheels on a different bike that Giant makes, and it really felt really flimsy. I just did not like it. It just had a lot of give, and it was just something I did not like. So I got these stiffer wheels on eBay. A lot of my parts for my bikes during this pandemic I've been getting on eBay. These are 29-inch wheels, 45 millimeters wide. They're pretty big. They're pretty wide. I wasn't going for that, but I could not find any 35 millimeter wide or 40 millimeter wide rims for 29ers at a decent price. I picked these up for like $250. In doing so, it came with a different hub, so I had to change the drivetrain, which I already had. Normally I would go for the L2 cheap Chinese SRAM copy drivetrain, but I got me this Microshift Advent X 10-speed drivetrain. The range is 11 to 48 on the cassette on the rear, which is pretty similar to what I had before, which was 11 to 51. It has a 30-tooth chain ring up front. This drivetrain is really good for a budget drivetrain. I think the complete drivetrain minus the chain was around 120 to 140, in between there. It shifts really good. I mean, I would put this against any kind of, even like Shimano XLX or XT. It shifts really good. It's on a budget. Like I said, parts are kind of hard to come by right now, so anywhere you go, I mean, you try to find stuff like this. I just got really lucky. I bought it in pieces, and they were all on sale, surprisingly. I got the cassette for like 40 bucks, the derailleur for like 35, and the shifter for about 35. But yeah, it comes with 4-piston brakes up front with a 180 rotor, and it has a single piston in the rear with 180, but to kind of offset the 4-piston brake up front, I decided to put a 203 millimeter rotor in the rear to give it a little more power. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird setup, but I don't know, I just like doing that kind of stuff anyways. But anyways, I got a little riser bar because I got back problems, and well, it just makes my ride, I can ride all day on that kind of setup, that kind of stack height. But yeah, it rides really well. I've been on 2 rides. The tires it came with originally were 2.3s back and forth. The front was a DHF and the rear was an Aggressor. I put a DHF 2.5 up front, and with those wide rims, man, the contact patch on those tires are just it's huge. I got me an old recycled tire in the rear, which is a WTB Descent. I think it's like 10 years old, but it's still a good tire. in terms of you know, it's not rotten or anything. But I'm gonna use it until it gets mostly used up. I kind of don't like the setup on that, just because the knobs are kind of close together. So it's good on cross country trails, but when it starts getting a little chunky, like, sorry there, had to cut real quick. Someone came by. As I was saying, the front, it's a 130 travel. 130 travel is good for my local trails, which is, you know, it's perfectly fine. But I have the air shaft. It was only like 35 bucks. Thinking of increasing it to 140, which would probably make this to, I believe every 10 millimeters it changes the head tube angle by like half a degree, so it'll be down to 66 versus 66.5. I don't know, so I might do that, might not do that. I really want to test it out in some tougher terrain. My local trails are mostly cross country, so I mean, they have some decent descents, but there's nothing really technical or anything. So I do want to take it out there, see what it's like, see what it feels like. I think I'll just do just fine. You know, this is considered a trail bike, so but yeah, so there's that. It climbs, it's a really good bike. I like the way it rides. It climbs really well, and it definitely goes downhill really well. The descents are really good. I definitely would recommend this bike. I mean, definitely for the price. You know, besides the upgrade, I mean, if you're a smaller person, you know, you obviously can do with all the stock components, but I have to usually change mine up just because I need something more heavy duty. One time before, I had just a regular, I think 28 spoke, really thin spoke hardtail, and like I kept on breaking spokes left and right, and I just ended up buying a heavier duty rear wheel, which after that I didn't have any issues. So but anyways, just to conclude this little mini review of this bike, it's a great bike. I definitely recommend it. The only thing funky is Giant uses a 35 millimeter wide or 35 millimeter handlebars with the stem that's 35 millimeters instead of like the regular or the standard 31.8. I swapped those out because I need a riser bar and all that kind of stuff, but that's the only kind of awkward thing to it. The lockouts are pretty good. I like the lockout on the rear shock and the front shock. But yeah, no, it's a really good bike. I recommend it. And if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask in the comments. And I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good one. Bye bye.